Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me for another Tales from the Crypt review. Today it is Season 2, Episode 9, Four-Sided Triangle, directed by Tom Holland and starring Patricia Arquette as Mary Jo. And I have to say, this is a unique episode. It's pretty solid overall, even if the concept is a bit out there, a bit bizarre. And I will say this is one of the longer episodes so far, and it's possibly slightly long and overplayed in a few places, but I do think it's solid and entertaining overall. And as always, this episode review will contain spoilers. So we start on a farm with a married couple, George and Louisa, and they have a young woman working for them named Mary Jo, and she seems to be out there a little bit, maybe not all there all the time. But Mary Jo's definitely working for them, and Louisa seems to be pretty mean to her. She's definitely not very kind for obvious reasons because it seems like her husband George is interested in Mary Jo in a very intimate way. So Mary Jo goes to collect some eggs for Louisa, and George basically tells her he doesn't care. He wants her to go milk the cow. This is just a reason for George to look at her in strange ways, I guess is a good way to say it. Eventually he comes in and they talk, and we find out that Mary Jo is basically trapped there because George has something on her. He saw her do something she shouldn't have, and when George comes on to her even more, they struggle, and basically Mary Jo tries to run away, but George, not being one of the smarter Tales from the Crypt characters, as we'll find out by the end of the episode, hits her on the head with a bottle. So as he's trying to cover this up, his wife Louisa comes in, but Mary Jo has run off into like fields, crops, whatever you want to call them, and she's delusional, and it looks to her like a scarecrow that's out in the field has come alive, and she thinks this is a real person, and she calls it her man through the rest of the episode. She thinks that this man is going to save her and is her boyfriend. Kind of a bizarre setup for the rest of the episode, but you have to kind of just go with it. So in the next scene, we find out George is still interested in Mary Jo. He hasn't learned his lesson. I would say he's getting a bit obsessed at this point, just my opinion. But Mary Jo just keeps talking about her man and how he's alive. This goes on until Louisa walks in, and Mary Jo still seems to be out there, but Louisa's kind of suspicious of what's going on between her husband and this girl, Mary Jo. And she concludes Mary Jo must just be crazy at this point. And maybe she is. We, the audience, are not sure at this point. So nighttime comes, and Georgia is still thinking of Mary Jo. And Mary Jo goes out to visit her man, the Scarecrow. She's talking to him, and this is a very, very strange scene, but I have to say Patricia Arquette does what she can. She does a pretty good job of convincing the audience that this character really believes the Scarecrow is alive, so good job there. So George sees this, and he's starting to form a bad idea in his head. We'll find out just how bad in a little bit. So George and Mary Jo have another scene. This one might be a little bit slightly overplayed. It's kind of repetitive, but basically George is telling her he's flesh and blood, the Scarecrow isn't, but Mary Jo isn't interested, and she basically runs off, and Louisa is getting even more suspicious. So at this point, George learns the next day that Mary Jo is still interested in this Scarecrow, and she says she's going to go back out and visit her man again tonight. This makes Louisa even more upset, but George kind of is formulating his ultimate plan now. At this point, George has a fantasy of Mary Jo and him kind of doing some intimate relations, I guess is a good way to put it. So this leads to the end of the episode, which admittedly is pretty well done. Mary Jo goes out to the Scarecrow, and she actually starts kissing it and kind of making out with the Scarecrow, which is pretty strange and weird, but it kind of works because the Scarecrow somehow comes alive. At this point, I think it's pretty easy to tell the twist of the episode, although some might not see it coming, as there's definitely a reason the Scarecrow's alive. This excites Mary Jo, but Louisa's not too excited. She comes out into the fields on a tractor, which is actually pretty amusing and pretty well done. Louisa and Mary Jo argue, as now the Scarecrow is not alive anymore, as we'll find out soon why. So Louisa basically tells Mary Jo it's just a scarecrow, it can't do anything. So to prove her point, she sticks it with a pitchfork a few times. Only we now find out that the scarecrow was George, trying to get his dreams to come true, I guess is a good way to say it. So basically, Louisa accidentally killed George, posing as the Scarecrow. And at this point, Mary Jo kills Louisa with the same pitchfork. And Mary Jo says now she's free, and she's kind of in her own little world, I would say. But she's free of the farm anyway. So I guess kind of a happy ending for Mary Jo, although I'm not sure where she goes from here. Not too happy of an ending for Louisa and George, but they weren't the nicest people anyway, so what can you really say? Then we get a funny closing scene with the Crypt Keeper with the Scarecrow's mask on his face, which is kind of strange and kind of funny. So overall, I do like Four-Sided Triangle. It's a little repetitive in places, but it's a solid, well-acted episode overall, and I do recommend it. And I give Four-Sided Triangle a 3.5 out of 5. Definitely an episode for fans of the series to watch, in my opinion. So a 3.5 out of 5 for Four-Sided Triangle. And as always, thank you very much for watching.